Do you ever feel like you're shouting into the void, trying to convince everyone of your plans, your dreams, your potential? What if I told you the loudest voice in the room isn't the most powerful one? What if the secret to achieving incredible success lies not in what you say, but in what you quietly do? Let me share a story that might just change the way you see things. Imagine a small, peaceful village nestled at the foot of a towering, misty mountain. The villagers were simple people, their lives intertwined with the seasons. Among them lived two young men, Leo and Ken. Both were ambitious, both dreamed of greatness, but their approaches were as different as night and day. Leo was a talker. He had a magnetic personality and a voice that could captivate anyone. From sunrise to sunset, you could find him in the village square, passionately describing his grand plans. "I will build the largest farm this village has ever seen," he'd declare. "My harvests will be so abundant, we'll never know hunger again. I will innovate, I will create new tools, I will change everything." The villagers would gather around, mesmerized by his words, his confidence, his elaborate blueprints for a future he painted so vividly. They applauded him, called him a visionary, and were certain he was destined for greatness. They saw him as the future of the village. Then there was Ken. Ken was quiet, almost to the point of being invisible. He rarely spoke of his ambitions. While Leo held court in the square, Ken was often found at the edge of the village, in a small, neglected plot of land that everyone else had given up on. It was rocky, overgrown, and considered worthless. He didn't announce his intentions. He didn't boast about his plans. He simply worked. Day after day, under the scorching sun or in the gentle rain, Ken was there. He started by painstakingly clearing the rocks, one by one. His hands became calloused. His back ached, but he never complained. He just kept working. He spent his evenings not in the tavern, but in the small village library, poring over old books about agriculture, soil enrichment, and crop rotation. He learned about the local climate, the patterns of the seasons, and the types of crops that would thrive in their specific environment. The villagers would sometimes pass by and see him. "Poor Ken," they'd whisper, "wasting his time on that barren land. Why can't he be more like Leo, with his brilliant ideas?" Leo himself would occasionally visit Ken. "My friend," he'd say with a patronizing smile, "why are you toiling away in silence? Come to the square. Share your vision. You need to inspire people. Build a following." Ken would just offer a small smile, a nod, and say, "I'm learning, Leo. There is much to do." And then he would return to his work. Leo, meanwhile, was busy networking. He organized meetings, gave speeches, and tried to rally volunteers for his grand farm. But his plans were always changing. One week, he wanted to build a complex irrigation system. The next, he was focused on designing a revolutionary new plow. He spent so much time talking about the work, he never actually got around to doing it. His farm remained a patch of untouched land, a stage for his speeches, not a place of growth. Back on Ken's plot, something magical was happening. The once rocky ground was now clear. He had enriched the soil with compost he made himself. He had dug a simple but effective irrigation channel from a nearby stream. He hadn't built a fancy system, just a practical one that worked. He planted seeds not in random rows, but in a way that maximized their exposure to sunlight and protected them from the wind. He was building a relationship with the land, understanding its needs, and responding to them. His actions were his blueprint. Months passed. Leo's followers started to grow restless. The grand speeches were still happening, but there were no results. The promises of abundance felt hollow when his own designated field lay fallow. Doubt began to creep into the village. His charisma was starting to wear thin against the stark reality of his inaction. One morning, a traveler passing through the village stopped at the edge of town, amazed. He saw a field, lush and green, bursting with life. Corn stalks stood tall, vegetables grew in neat, healthy rows, and fruit trees, though still young, were showing incredible promise. He rushed to the village square and asked, "Who is the master farmer who owns that incredible plot of land? It's a work of art." The villagers were confused. They followed him, and their jaws dropped. It was Ken's worthless land. It wasn't just a farm. It was an oasis, a testament to silent, relentless effort. While Leo had been painting pictures with words, Ken had been painting a masterpiece with his hands, with sweat, with quiet dedication. The villagers looked at Ken, who was calmly tending to his plants, with a newfound respect. They saw the truth. Grand visions mean nothing without execution. Promises are empty without action. Leo stood at the back of the crowd, his face pale. All his eloquent speeches, all his grand pronouncements, all his charisma, faded into nothingness in the face of Ken's thriving crops. Ken's success spoke for itself, louder and more convincingly than any speech Leo had ever given. Ken didn't gloat. He didn't say, "I told you so." When the villagers came to him, asking how he did it, he didn't give a grand speech. He simply showed them. He showed them how to test the soil, how to compost, how to conserve water. He shared his knowledge freely, his actions once again speaking for him. He became the true leader, not by proclaiming himself one, but by proving his worth through tangible results. This story teaches us a profound lesson. In a world obsessed with self-promotion, with broadcasting every thought and plan, true power lies in quiet execution. Let your work be your noise. Let your results be your argument. When you focus your energy on doing, instead of announcing, you build a foundation so strong that it cannot be ignored. Think about it in your own life. How much time do you spend talking about what you're going to do? The diet you're going to start, the business you're going to launch, the book you're going to write. Now, how much time do you spend actually doing it? The world doesn't reward planners. It rewards finishers. Success isn't attracted to noise. It's attracted to effort. Stop telling everyone your big plans. Instead, show them your small progress day after day. Be like Ken. Find your patch of barren land, that project, that skill, that goal you've been putting off, and start clearing the rocks, one by one, in silence. Let your dedication be your declaration. Let your focus be your voice. Your success will eventually speak for itself, and its voice will be more powerful and more convincing than any words you could ever utter. So, be quiet, work hard, and let your actions make all the noise. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content to help you on your journey. We'll see you in the next video.